Hi there, and welcome to another TLDR video. With continuing to affect millions of people across the world, many countries are bringing forward emergency powers to react accordingly. In the UK, the government brought forward a bill which we covered in another video, and in Hungary, their Prime Minister Viktor Orban did the same. The difference being the implications and the international condemnation. So in this video, we'll be taking a look at exactly what's happening in Hungary and what it means for the rest of Europe. Before we do though, a quick shout out to our Discord. You might know that for a while now we've been building a little community on Discord, where over 2,000 people discuss and debate all kinds of topics. What you might not know is we've just started a Discord debate series, where we'll hold debates on different topics every day. So if you run out of people to argue with in self-isolation, we might have a solution for you. Oh, and this very topic is the debate we'll be having on Friday, so be sure to get involved and have your say. The link's down below. So on Monday 30th, Hungary's parliament voted on an emergency law to respond to this, voting 138 in favour and 53 against. The overriding implication of this bill was to allow Viktor Orban, the Hungarian Prime Minister, the ability to rule by decree. This in itself is not uncommon. Many countries and even regions will declare states of emergency to allow them to de facto rule by decree, allowing them to make time-sensitive decisions outside of the traditional, often bureaucratic democratic processes. In the UK, through the Civil Contingencies Act, emergency regulations can be made if, as the name suggests, there is a genuine emergency. The main public outcry has arisen from the fact that there's no effective time limit on Orban's ability to rule by decree, as well as there being potential problems with certain other clauses within the new emergency law. There are theoretical safeguards to Orban's new powers, including the ability for the Hungarian parliament to withdraw powers. As the Financial Times reports, issues remain though, as Orban's party enjoys a supermajority, and the Supreme Court, which has a duty to supervise Orban's usage of powers, simply won't want to act, as it's packed with ruling party loyalists. Besides allowing Orban to rule by decree, the new emergency law has brought in the suspension of Parliament, up to a 3-year sentence for violating quarantine and isolation orders, increasing to 5 years if committed in a group, and up to 8 years if the criminal offence causes death. All elections and referendums have also been suspended, and a 5-year prison term has been introduced for those disseminating fake news, with the law specifically stating a person during the period of special legal order and in front of a large audience who states or disseminates any untrue fact or misrepresented true fact that is capable of hindering or preventing efficiency of protection is guilty of a felony and shall be punished by imprisonment for 1 to 5 years. Many people are concerned about how far this emergency legislation goes and the implications for the EU's core values. Ursula von der Leyen, speaking in response to the general powers being used to tackle the coronavirus, said,
"In all member states, including Hungary, and I understand that member states may need to take emergency measures to address the immediate health crisis, but I am concerned that certain measures go too far, and I'm particularly concerned with the situation in Hungary. We will take action as necessary, as we have already done in the past. Emergency measures in the may be necessary. I acknowledge that. Governments need to have tools to act swiftly to protect public health, and many member states are putting them in place right now. So therefore, we are monitoring the whole and mapping the whole situation. But these emergency measures have to be limited to what is necessary. They have to be strictly proportionate because they have to be adequate in this situation. They should not last indefinitely. And very important, they should be subject to regular scrutiny.
A sentiment which was echoed by the Civil Liberties Committee of the European Parliament, with the chair stating, "We are aware that member states have a responsibility to take protective measures in these difficult times, but these measures should always ensure that fundamental rights, rule of law and democratic principles are protected. In this context, we should call on the Commission to assess if the proposed bill complies with the values enshrined in Article 2 of the Treaty on European Union, and to remind Member States of their responsibility to respect and protect these common values. Donald Tusk, President of the European People's Party, the conservative grouping of the European Parliament to which Orban's party belonged before being expelled, criticised Hungary's actions.
Extraordinary measures, often restricting democracy, are also necessary in this time. The pandemic justifies that they are applied, but it does not justify that they are abused. The state of emergency or the state of danger must serve the governments in their fight against the virus and not strengthen their power over the citizens. Making use of the pandemic to build a permanent state of emergency is politically dangerous and morally unacceptable. This is why so many questions and concerns appear regarding the situation in Hungary, where, according to many, the emergency measures which have been introduced are disproportionate and inadequate. And what is more, they have been introduced for an indefinite period of time. Many of you, even if you criticized Prime Minister Orban for his previous decisions, did not agree to expel Fidesz from our political family. Today, we have, of course, much more important things on our mind. Our top priority is the fight against the. But the time will soon come when you will have to again reconsider your positions.
Going further, Belgium, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Ireland, Italy, Latvia, Lithuania, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Portugal, Spain and Sweden joined together in a joint diplomatic statement saying that in this unprecedented situation, it's legitimate that member states adopt extraordinary measures to protect their citizens and overcome the crisis. We are, however, deeply concerned about the risk of violations of the principles of law, democracies and fundamental rights arising from the adoption of certain emergency measures. Hungary's Justice Minister told Euronews that there's definitely a sunset clause. It says that the Hungarian Assembly will decide on the termination of this emergency situation, and by this act, the law will cease to exist. Regardless, the Council of Europe, the European Commission, Reporters Without Borders and the European Parliament have all expressed concerns. The EU does have the power to sanction Hungary through Article 7 of the Lisbon Treaty, referred to by some as the nuclear option. Designed to protect the EU's fundamental values of human dignity, freedom, democracy, equality, the rule of law and respect for human rights, through Article 7, Hungary's right to vote on EU decisions can be suspended. The issue here is whether the EU can use it this time round. The process ultimately requires the EU Council to act with unanimity. However, both Hungary and Poland, which is also being threatened with disciplinary action, have said that they'll block the action against the other, in effect preventing a full suspension. With Europe focusing on battling the first and foremost, it may be some time before Europe reacts with force, and what happens next is anyone's guess. Let us know in the comments what you think about the current situation, and if you think that Hungary should face disciplinary action from the European Union. More importantly though, you should get involved with the discussion over on Discord. Join in on the debate on the topic on Friday, or get involved with any of the other topics happening throughout this week and the weeks to come. You can find a link to the Discord and you can join right now by clicking the link in the description. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon if you want more updates on this as it plays out. You can also find more from us across all social networks simply by searching for TLDR News. Special thanks to our Patreon backers who make videos like this one possible.